Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, I want to do a video on this Bic lighter here. I had a lot of people send messages and asking about it and talking about it a little bit when I did my EDC update, just because they're interested in the cigar band that was on there. So this is a really cool way to kind of decorate or enhance the looks of your Bic. Now, anyone who buys Bic lighters know that there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of different designs that they have on Bics, which is pretty cool. Everything from like a thumbs up to a happy face to words, slogans. I had one that had a pickle on it on the front. And it's just to represent people's different styles. You know what I mean? So you get something that fits your style. Or of course the classic Bic lighters, which are just solid colors. But this is a cool way, especially, I mean, most obviously for cigar smokers, this would be a cool little addition, especially if you're using the Bic to light your cigars. It's a little pizzazz. Definitely something to talk about. But the big question people had was, hey, what ring size fits a Bic lighter? Which I should have mentioned in the first video when I was talking about it a little bit. But essentially, it is a 50 ring gauge that fits perfectly snug onto a Bic lighter. But there's a caveat there. Not all 50 ring gauge cigars will work. Okay, so first off, I started with this Rocky Patel, which was absolutely perfect. Okay, slipped on, it was nice and snug. It's very hard to move, so it's not going to go anywhere. Then after that one, I put on this San Miguel because I had a cool little design, which I probably gonna take off just because it leaves a gap because it's not, you know, even all the way around. It's not a huge deal or anything, but I like the way this looks on the front here. But you can see that the San Miguel, although also a 50 ring gauge, is looser on this lighter than the Rocky Patel. And then most recently, actually this morning, I had smoked a Arturo Fuente. It was a short story Hemingway in Maduro, which I believe is technically a 4x49. So it's a 49 ring gauge, but the problem with that cigar is that it tapers quite a bit. It's a very unique shape. So like, you know, the bottom here, towards, you know, where you would be smoking it, or the end you're putting in your mouth basically, is a little bit smaller. So this is perfect, but the bottom, you know, it flares out a little bit. Not because the paper flares out, but because the cigar is tapered and the label or the band is totally straight. When they wrap together, it just, you know, it's a little bit slanted. So you can see that slant right there, and you can see that I just kind of pinched this over and folded it down so it'd be a little bit tighter. All right, so when using this lighter, these aren't gonna fall off or anything, you know what I mean? But they do slide a little bit, so I'm gonna take this off. All right, to give you another example though, this is a cigar band from a Gurkha Ninja, okay, a knife size, which I believe is a regular Robusto. It's 5x50. And even though this is a 50 ring gauge, this is a little bit too big for this this lighter. So you can see, actually it's easier if I start from the top here. All right, as I slide this over, you can see it's big enough, has enough slack in it to go completely over the lighter. It doesn't get caught up on this other one. Actually starting to lift up a little bit here. Anyway, you guys get the idea. It's too big to be tight on the lighter here. Okay, so that's not going to work. Now, even though it's a 50 ring gauge that fits the lighter, not all cigar bands are going to be exactly the same, in that when they, you know, fold this over and it gets glued, maybe one's a little bit tighter than the other. You know, there's very minute differences. So, you know, I'm using 50 ring gauge as a reference to about what's going to fit, but it doesn't mean all 50 ring gauges are going to fit. Like this one's a little bit too loose. Now, when I smoke a cigar, what I generally try to do, it's not always possible because sometimes the glue that they use, if it's not self-adhesive, the glue might stick a little bit to the actual cigar leaf or the wrapper. And of course, at that point, you don't want to be tugging on anything because then you'll just ruin the cigar. But oftentimes I'm able to slip the cigar band off the cigar before I'm done smoking it. Okay, especially once it starts getting closer to that area. Generally speaking, the cigar will heat up a little bit, it'll get a little bit warm and a little bit squishier, so you can maneuver that ring off without damaging the wrapper. So most of my cigar bands that I have, in this case, you can see a tiny bit of wrapper actually stuck to it, but I'm still able to you know, finish the cigar just fine. So these wrappers are still glued together. Totally unnecessary, it's just something I happen to do. But obviously if it's unglued, you can use a larger size ring gauge. So if you have anything from a 50 ring gauge up, you can just you know, wrap it around and drop a new piece of glue on there, or you can actually glue it to the lighter. I save my cigar bands, so when I'm done with this lighter and it's out of fluid, I'll just slip these off and put them back in my little collection. I saved every single cigar band from every cigar I've ever smoked in my entire life. Okay, why? I don't know, because I'm weird like that. I've you know my hobbies and my collector that's in me. You know what I mean? It's deeply rooted in my personality is collecting things, and it's cool to be able to look back and see literally every cigar I've ever smoked in my life. So yeah, it's interesting. Well, I say cigar, I should say premium cigar, because as a kid, there were plenty of like White Owls and you know, Tiparellos that I've smoked occasionally. But anyway, any cigar that actually had a band on it, I've saved. So yeah, just a cool little idea. But like I said, it doesn't have to be a 50 that just happens to fit perfectly. Any cigar band that's a size 50 or above will work fine. Just wrap it around, obviously glue it so it's nice and tight. And if you want to have it permanently on the lighter, then just put a little bit of glue, obviously around the actual band itself. So when you slipped it on or wrapped it around, it would glue itself to the lighter and be more of a permanent fixture. But definitely adds something, adds a little character to your Bic lighters, okay? Okay, let's say you don't smoke cigars, but you like this idea, because a lot of different cigar bands are very decorative. All you have to do is know a smoker, okay? Unfortunately, I don't think you can go into a smoke shop and ask for bands because no one really saves them in that respect. However, who knows? You never know, right? So let's say you don't smoke cigars, but you do like this and you don't know anyone who does smoke cigars that will save the bands and give them to you. Yeah, it's a shot in the dark, but you can, of course, go into any smoke shop and ask. Say, hey, if you guys are throwing out bands, can you save them for me? I'll pick them up. And maybe they will do that, because a lot of times, more times than not, a smoke shop will also have a smoking lounge. Whether it's one table or a whole back room, they usually have a smoking lounge and people are smoking cigars there, and when they're done, they just leave their nubs in the ashtray. So anyway, if you get a really nice guy at the cigar shop, maybe when he goes to throw out those nubs and empty the ashtrays, he'll slip off the bands for you. You just never know. So it's worth asking, I guess. But anyway, there you go. So see you guys later. Thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.